Hi everyone, I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much for joining me. It is Wednesday, August 14th, 2024. Hump Day, yep. There's been a lot of earthquakes there, southwest of Salton City, along different branches of the San Jacinto fault zone. Looking at all the different moment tensor balls, most of these earthquakes are moving towards the east, towards the San Andreas fault zone. The San Jacinto fault zone is actually basically another offshoot of the San Andreas fault zone. Here we have the Salton Sea, and the San Andreas fault zone goes underneath here, and it's also a spreading center where the United States is dividing up, splitting apart. The largest earthquake, I believe, was this morning at 6:10 a.m., being a magnitude 3.4, I believe. I didn't put all the recent earthquakes on this map, but you can see here we got the San Jacinto fault zone. It's an extension of the San Jacinto that runs down over here. Let me show you another map. That little black dot is the recent 3.4. You can see drawn out in orange. These are all branches of the San Jacinto fault zone. It's not going to work for me, is it? There we go. San Jacinto fault zone. San Jacinto fault zone. And then up over here towards the north, San Jacinto fault zone. And I'll bring it out. I don't know how well you can see it on here. These colors are really light, but there's a fault zone through here, here, and here, all joining up with the San Jacinto fault zone towards the southwest. Most of the reports that came in said it was light shaking that they felt there by Salton Sea and other areas. USGS gave it an intensity level of 3, which means it was felt noticeably indoors, but not always recognized as an earthquake. Standing automobiles would have been rocking slightly. Vibration like a passing truck, and you think, oh, big deal. Intensity level 3, magnitude 3.4. But it is a sign that pressure has built in this location, and there is a possibility, a 10%, that any of these earthquakes could be a foreshock for something much larger. We got 86 earthquakes in the last month, and you can see, all the earthquakes, and we got some up along over here. The largest earthquake within the last month was a magnitude 3.5. All these earthquakes were fairly shallow in depth. This one here was 2.0 miles in depth. Let's see, there was also a 3.0. Now that was on the 3rd. That was real shallow, 1.7 miles in depth. Here's that 3.4 that was today, 2.0 miles in depth. And in the last week, there's been 15 earthquakes. Again, the largest being a magnitude 3.4. And in the last 24 hours, there's been 6 earthquakes. Most recent was a 0.7, a 1.3, a 1.4. 2.4, and then the 3.4. There's the 2.4. Trending complex systems of faults including the San Jacinto, Buck Ridge, Hot Springs, Casa Loma, Thomas Mountain, Claremont, Clark, Coyote Creek faults, and is characterized by its continually straightness of these fault zones. High seismicity and right lateral slip. It may be currently the most active member of the San Andreas fault zone. Sections of this fault, of the San Jacinto fault zone, is divided up into 7 sections because it's so long. Naming off the sections going from north to south, we got the San Bernardino section, the Enza section, Coyote Creek section, and the Borgero Mountain section, Superstition Hill section, Superstition Mountain, Sanders and Migas Trail section, You have to excuse me, I'm all tongue-tied today. I guess I need more coffee. Anyways, while doing some research today, there is a spreading section. I did not know about this. You might want to consider it if you live within this area. We got a pull-apart basin. It's between Mystic Lake and Lake Paris. It's a state recreational area. Yeah, I did not know there was a pull-apart basin by Casa Loma. And there's actually scarps of uplift over here on the eastern side of Mystic Lake. Other things that I found today when I was doing some research, I drew it out in blue. This is a section where the San Andreas Fault Zone meets up with the San Jacinto Fault Zone. I don't know if you can see that or not. Originally, at the formation of the San Andreas Fault Zone, it was going to be one long straight line, but it couldn't do it because of uplift of different mountains. And so it divided up into another strand. Over here, let me go down here by the Salton Sea. Because of uplift of a mountain, which I know I marked it out, but I don't see it right now because of volcanism. Before the San Andreas Fault Zone even formed. Yeah, this is why we got a bend over here for the San Andreas Fault Zone, but I don't see it. I know I put it, but I don't see it right now. With the San Jacinto Fault Zone to the west, the Elsinore Fault to the southwest, that would be, let's see, this one right here. And the Imperial Fault Center directly under the Imperial Valley, which is this location right here. There is often moderate and damaging earthquakes. Different events for large earthquakes was in 1852, 1892, 1950, 1942, 1979, and 1987. A lot of these I got marked out here, you can see. We got 1915, a 6.2, 1889, a 7.2, 1940, a 6.9. The one in 1940 was close to the same location of the 7.2. They really don't know much about that earthquake because, yeah, they weren't monitoring the earthquakes back then. Then up over here we got 1981, a 5.9, 1987, a 6.5. Let's see, what's this one? Last year, I believe. What is that? Yeah, a 4.5. That was April of last year. And then going over here is all the recent earthquakes. 1968, a 6.5. 1954, a 6.4. 1937, a 6.0. This whole area is considered the Salton Trough. It's part of a boundary between the Pacific Plate and the North American Plate. This is where it undergoes a transition from the continental transform of the San Andreas Fault System to a series of short spreading centers of the East Pacific Rise linked by ocean transform of the Gulf of California. I often watch the earthquakes they have down there in the Gulf of California, and I've talked about that. That is where the plume of magma comes up and goes all the way to Yellowstone. So, yeah, what's causing these earthquakes? Let me show you one of the moment tensor balls. Here we have the moment tensor ball, and you can see the fault actually moved going east. It dipped down a little bit. Tension is applied, to the same location where we've been having the earthquakes, but pressure is going towards the north. That's one focal mechanism ball. Now check this one out. This is a very small earthquake. It's only a magnitude 1.4, but look how the fault is moving towards the east, and it moved north. Look how much it moved north. First wave of the earthquake came from the south, pushing it towards the north. Tension again is going to be applied to the same location where we've been having these earthquakes. Here's a magnitude 3.3 that was on the 8th. Same thing. Fault moved going east. This one actually dipped down a little bit. But the first wave of the earthquake came from the northwest. Tension is going to be applied going towards the southwest a little bit. Yeah, these earthquakes are going to continue for a while. And like I said, you have a 10% chance of being a foreshock for something much larger. But is it going to put pressure along the San Andreas fault zone? I don't know. Yeah, like I said too, there's been a history of large earthquakes in this location. Are you prepared? I hope so. Please put your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.